Happy New Year's, folks from the Benchmop Scrubs family. Thank you again and always for tuning into our podcast. I'm Obey Chia. On today's podcast, we're going to be recapping the Wildcard Weekend. It was a historic weekend as we had 3 games each day for the first time ever. We'll talk about the outcomes of the games, our thoughts, and predictions going forward. Unfortunately, none of the 7 seeds were able to pull off the upset. Sorry, Colts and Bears fans, but we witnessed some great football and some unexpected outcomes. Yusuf, what do you think?
Well, before we begin, we just wanted to give a huge shout out to SS Crafted Designs. They're founded by a young guy, absolutely quality dude named Sabur, based in Houston. And he was nice enough to design our podcast shirts, which look extremely clean and extremely dope. Amazing quality, color is vibrant, and totally looks professional. He designs and customizes many different things: art, clothing, treats, gifts for weddings, birthdays, etc., just to name a few. So give him a like, subscribe, and seriously check him out. He's on Instagram, Facebook, and Etsy, and we'll have a link to his profile on our pages. Also, shouts to my little cousin Rabia from Houston for linking us up and making this happen. Again, guys, his name is Sabur, based out in Houston. SS Crafted Designs. Check him out.
Wait, so are we gonna get paid for that, or since we like?
Yeah, dude.
He paid us by making us those shirts, bro.
Yep.
I mean, that's true, but like, I don't have the shirt, so I don't know what's going on.
Bro, I got him. I got you.
All right.
You subverted them after Friday night, bro.
I know.
Uh-oh. I got some tension here. Guys, doesn't something feel off today? Like, I feel like something's off or missing or...
Well, I see Daniel and you obeyed.
Wait, where's Ibrahim? Is he here? Ibrahim?
Not.
Did you send him a link?
Yeah, I sent him a link.
Can you check your message?
It's just that thing with... I sent him a message. He got it. I
Why
texted him.
Are we...
No. I texted him. I'm like, listen, meet us. And he's like, yeah, I'll meet you January 12th at 9 p.m.
Wait, did you say January 12th?
Yeah, today.
Bro, today's January 11th.
No. Oh,
yeah, dude, check.
You are. Well, wait a minute. Why are we all on here?
Hold on.
Why are we all on here?
Did we all mess this up?
I think so. Shoot. Oh, well.
All
right. Guys, Ibrahim.
Show must go on.
Yeah, show must go on. Ibrahim's doing big things, so he doesn't have time for us. But we'll catch you. We'll wait for him, and then he's gonna come back and check us out on the next podcast. He'll be there. But he told me that anything that I say, he agrees with. So it's all automatically 2 against 2.
Wait.
That's what it is.
So did he tell you that he was not going to be here? How did he?
Let's
he
get to the topic.
Wait, how did he text you? It sounds like preemptive,
Bills,
like
Colts.
he knew he wasn't going to be here, and you knew.
Let's talk about Bills versus Colts, guys.
Oh man, what a game, dude! What a game. I guess I'll start it off. With the Colts and the Bills. For me, honestly, I felt like it was a little bit closer than I thought it would be. It also kind of confirmed some of the stuff that I thought about Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a good guy, great quarterback. He's up and coming, but it seems like he starts to crumble a little bit towards the end of games, especially in high moments when it matters. He kept his poise in this game. Kudos to him for being able to do that. But, I think they should have put the game away earlier, and it was just a ball game all the way to the 4th quarter. And I think the way it had played out, it shouldn't have been like that.
I mean, I think it was a great way for the Bills to get their first playoff win in a long time. And I think most folks had them kind of winning big, but that's usually not the case of the playoffs. Most games in the playoffs are tougher. I mean, that's why they're called the playoffs. All the cream of the crop premier teams are here. And so as much as we expected it, I'm not terribly surprised how close the game was. Exactly. I mean, both quarterbacks balled out. Rivers did great. And actually, fun fact. I think the Colts are the first team in NFL history to lose a playoff game with having 450 yards of offense and 0 turnovers. So that's a pretty unsettling way to lose, especially you basically played perfect football, not really turning the ball over whatsoever, and still end up losing the game. So it's pretty heartbreaking, but it just shows you how much talent the Bills have. But one thing that's kind of concerning for me going forward with the Bills especially is just their lack of running game. Zach Moss is going to be out for the postseason. So they're kind of down to just Devin Singletary, who really hasn't proven himself throughout the year. And I feel like teams are going to hone in more on Josh Allen and kind of impede his rushing ability. And that's obviously knowing how the playoffs go. If you are one-dimensional, you're not really going to have too much success, especially deeper in the playoffs. But this team is looking up, and they're going to be a real presence for a long time. And I do think they're going to. I believe. Obviously predictions are. We're going to talk about that later, but I think they have a shot to go quite deep in the playoffs. But very impressed with the Bills, especially with how young of a team they have, and Josh Allen winning, his first playoff game. And I think it's only up from here.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was a great game as well. The first game to start off the playoffs, it's always exciting. Has everyone, has everyone's juices flowing. I was actually disappointed by the Colts because I thought, what are you making? What face are you making?
I'm just smiling. I just love when you talk, Daniel.
No,
weird.
but I mean, I think the Colts lost more than the Bills won the game. If you go back and look at it, the coaching on the Colts side was atrocious. They went on 4th and 4 on the 4-yard line, which when I think they should have kicked a field goal. They also went for 2 when you were down by 8 and could have been down a touchdown. Why would you do that? Why would you not just kick the extra point? And they also missed a 33-yard field goal by Blankenship, I believe his name is. So if you factor in all those factors, I mean, Josh Allen, I think he's the real deal. I really liked watching him play. He's great on the run. He reminds me somewhat of Rodgers, and the commentators were mentioning that as well. Colts ran the ball really well, and Bills have a good defense. And, Jonathan Taylor, they were running it well. And as Obeid already mentioned, the Bills have no running game. They only got 40 yards from the running backs, Singletary and Moss, and now Moss is out. So the game was closer than I thought it should have been. And I believe the Colts lost more than the Bills won the game. And obviously the Bills were at home. They have a better team, but with the lack of decision making on the Colts side, I think the coaching didn't help them for sure. So they did have a chance, and I think they could have won that game.
Yeah, and I want to kind of clarify too. Going in, I thought it would be a pretty close game, and it was a great game. But during the game, when it was the fourth quarter, the Bills had really it felt like they had put the Colts away when it was 27-16, I believe, with like 8 minutes to go. And then, that's kind of where, if there's one critique for this young Bills team, is to just kind of put your foot down and finish the game off versus, an experienced guy, an experienced veteran in Phillip Rivers going down and scoring another touchdown and then making it a closer game. I think like with 2 minutes to go or whatever it was. So that's kind of what I was talking about. But I think, as they get more experience and stuff, Josh Allen and the Bills will figure out how to put teams away. They weren't able to do that last year in the playoffs, but they were able to do it this year. So like Obeid said, I think it's only up from here for them.
A win.
I also,
at the end of the day, sorry, Daniel, a win is a win. I think no matter how you get it, a win is a win. I don't think the Bills are sad or upset about, the Colts missing field goals. I'm sure the Colts are, but here and there, that's what football is, a game of inches. One or two plays can determine the game, even though the entire game determines the game, but one or two plays going your way or the other can really, really make a difference. But at the end of the day, I think it was a good step. Getting that first win for a lot of quarterbacks and teams for the first time in a long time does wonders for your confidence and mentality. So I do expect them to come guns a-blazing in the next game, when they play the Ravens. But it's going to be interesting to see how they play, because now with the confidence that Allen has, and even when we discuss the Ravens, how the confidence Jackson's going to have, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how both those teams come out. Because obviously coaching advantages and all that, but I do agree with you, Donnell. The coaching was kind of an issue, but you could say that for anything. If they had made the 2-point conversion, if they had made that 4th and 4, everybody would be praising Frank Reich, but they're not. So that's just
also, I think it's the Browns versus the Bills, because the Ravens are the number 1 seed, so they're going to play against the Chiefs.
No, it's the
it's
the Browns versus Chiefs.
Why? Isn't it the lowest seed versus the?
Yeah, lowest seed. The Browns were a 6 seed. The Ravens were a 5 seed.
Weren't the Ravens 7?
No.
Oh, they were 5. You're right. Okay, my bad.
Colts were 7.
You're right. You're right.
We're gonna have to cut this out because we cannot let the viewers know.
But regardless, I mean, I feel like the Bills play the way they did against the Colts. I think that they're not going to be able to beat the Ravens. So they got to play better offensively and defensively if they want to compete, because the Ravens are a really, really talented team. So you guys want to talk about the next game?
Awkward pause. No.
So I mean, we're talking about the Ravens already. I mean, I can talk about the Titans versus the Ravens.
I guess that is going to be the game that the Bills are going to be up against. And again, a rematch from last year's AFC playoffs, and the Ravens winning, and Lamar Jackson getting that proverbial monkey off his back and finally getting his first playoff win, which I was the only one to correctly predict, amongst other things. But nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. But the Ravens came out, played smash mouth football, and shut out the Yusuf's MVP, Derrick Henry. So there's that at least.
But hold up. True.
Hold up.
Derrick Henry. Hold up. They did. I'll give you that. But again, back when we did discuss this, it was not who you think is going to win the MVP. It's who you think should win the MVP. And yeah, Derrick Henry got contained for sure. But then, like I said, you saw what type of effect it had for the rest of his team, right? Ryan Tannehill had an okay game. I wouldn't say he had an amazing game by any means of the stretch. AJ Brown was good, not great. Derrick Henry opens things up for their offense. They weren't able to do that. They were only able to put up 13 points. This dude is super valuable to his team. He had a bad game for sure, but I think this guy needs to get the credit he deserves. Derrick Henry, you are my guy.
I'm pulling your leg.
You are still King Henry.
But that's more credit.
Yeah,
with the Titans, and everybody knows that they're going to run. More credit to the Ravens defense for stepping up,
of course,
and proving their worth. And they are a top 3 unit, and they proved it. And they said they were going to shut out Henry, and they said they went into the game saying that they wanted to hold him under 90 yards. They held him to 40. I'd say they did a pretty good job on him. And surprisingly, the Lamar Jackson and the Ravens were the only team before their win a few days ago to not have won a game by after being down more than 10 points. And not only did they win, they outscored them 20-3 the rest of the way. So that's very impressive for them to buckle down, because they're not a team to win from. They're not built to win from being down, because they're a very running centric team. And Lamar, as much as phenomenal of an athlete as he is, his main weakness is his pocket passing. And not that he did phenomenal from the pocket, but he did good enough with one dynamic, explosive 48-yard scamper to the end zone on 3rd down, and I think that really turned around the game for them.
Yeah, for me, this game was all about defense, right? I mean, 20-13 with the Ravens and the Titans, you would expect more points. But the Titans came in scoring about 30 points, and then on the Ravens side, you have obviously Lamar Jackson, who's a highlight reel on his own. So I was kind of impressed by actually the Titans defense. They came to play. They had 4 sacks. They were holding Lamar Jackson as well as you can handle him. And they did a pretty good job of that. Besides the 50-yard run that he had, where he's a home run hitter, right? He just with that one play he was struggling, but that one play, it kind of broke him out and kind of gave him confidence, and they went on to win the game. But the Ravens defense was the most important component for the win. Holding the Titans, holding Derrick Henry, to own under 50 yards, it's crazy. And it's no one could have thought about that, that they would hold him under 50 yards. One thing is, he's going to run and you still can't stop him. And that's just what happens with the Titans. But the Ravens knew, and, they were able to do that. The other thing is the Ravens and the Titans, they don't like each other. As you guys saw, after the game, Lamar Jackson just, walked away, and he's just like, I'm not going to, shake their hand. And I think that was because what had happened earlier in the game, correct?
Actually happened last year.
Last year.
When they won, they had won in Baltimore, because Baltimore was a number 1 seed and they were a 6 seed. And so when they had won in Baltimore, they were dancing and stomping on their logo. So then kind of payback, that's what the Ravens did in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the Ravens have to offer, in the next game versus the Bills. I mean, I would think that they're the favorites with the defense that they're playing. So, I mean, we'll talk more about that in the future, but I think it's going to be a really good game between them and the Bills.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Ravens and the Bills, man, for literally everything you guys have said. But especially 2 young quarterbacks who finally got that, they've gotten over that hump of winning their first playoff game. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, guns blazing, man. Bring it.
And I think it's going to be in that particular game. Now both teams have that confidence and have kind of that swagger and edge of having that first playoff win, especially both the quarterbacks. I think it's going to come down to who can strike first and who's going to be able to, get the lead. And, if going into the half and playing well, I think that's going to be a key in terms of coming down to who's going to win the game. And I think it's going to be relatively a defensive game. I'm not going to say it's going to be in the 40s, but I think it'll be somewhere in low 20s, mid 20s. I think it's what the game is going to come down to. And I think it's going to be close. I do think the Bills should be and probably will be favored going into the game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer. I personally have the Ravens going in, upsetting the Bills, because that was my original pick that I had, and I'm kind of sticking with it, even though I do think maybe the Bills probably would win the game with just how they're playing. But I think just because of their defense is better and their sheer rushing dominance, they outrushed the Titans by almost 200 yards. And Titans were the number 1 rushing team in the NFL, and they outscored them by literally almost 200 yards. And I think that's going to be something, it's one of those things with dominant, quarterbacks like Mahomes and Brady and Breeze and Manning. It's if you rush the ball, you keep them off the field. And I think that's going to be a key to the game going forward. If the Ravens can rush the ball and keep Josh Allen off the field and that dynamic offense, then I think they have a legitimate shot of pulling off the upset in Buffalo.
But are they dynamic though? Like scoring 20 points against, 27 points against the Titans, one of the worst defenses, the Bills. I don't know if they're dynamic. I don't know if they're top 5 offense.
The Colts have a top 3 defense in the NFL. Colts have one of the best defenses in the NFL. So they played great, and I think each team has a different game plan. Colts are very good against the pass, and that's what the Bills are very good at. The Ravens, on the other hand, are a lot better on their rushing defense, which is what kind of came forth in this game, but not as strong as the Colts were on passing. So who knows what's going to happen? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to matchups. And I think the Bills do match up pretty favorably with the Ravens, but not having a rushing attack and kind of being one-dimensional and just laying back is going to be a little bit of a negative for the Bills. But who knows? I mean, a lot of people have doubted Josh Allen, and they still probably do to this day. And he's proved them wrong every single day. And I think he definitely has the ability to do it. And honestly, same for Lamar Jackson. A lot of people still call him a running back, and he's still proving him wrong every single day.
I mean, I agree with you on the one-dimensional part. That's the only thing that's gonna, I want to see how they do against a really good defense against the Ravens. So we'll see, right? I mean, that's what we're gonna be watching. But with no running game and the Ravens defense just, clamping down on the receivers, I'm excited to see, how that's gonna turn out.
Watch out for one guy on the game. It's J.K. Dobbins, the rookie from OSU, playing for the Ravens. He was always projected to be the lead back, but obviously with their three-headed attack with Gus Edwards, Mark Ingram, and J.K. Dobbins, now he's kind of taken over the role, and he's so dynamic. He can catch the ball really well, and I think he's going to be a quiet X factor for them, especially keeping Allen off the field.
And we should not forget to mention Stephon Diggs and that Josh Allen combination. Okay, I just don't think we can
beast. Absolute beast.
We can't sleep on it. I think it's going to be a tight game, but Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, that combination is something to watch out for when they play. Yeah. And I think, they're going to miss that ground game. Josh Allen's going to be forced to beat them in the air. But having a guy like Stephon Diggs, I think, is going to definitely help him.
Stephon Diggs is always on his game. They're going to need him to be Steph off his game.
Okay. All right. Sure.
That was good. That was
encouraging him.
Appreciate it,
man. You're encouraging him.
It was a good joke.
As soon as you said Stephon, I didn't listen to what you said. I was just thinking of that joke the entire time, dude. I'm sorry.
I know the way you pronounce his name. I'm like, oh, here comes an obey joke. I just don't know what it is yet.
Speaking of off their games, wasn't guys the Steelers? Are you kidding me?
Oh,
they were.
I thought you were going different route there.
I can continue. I have a lot of these in my arsenal, guys.
Oh, dude, what was that game?
I mean, I knew what that game was. I predicted the win, guys. Let's get this clear for the audience. I predicted the Browns to win, and I was confident as a Ohioan. I knew deep down that the Ohioans and the Cleveland Browns would come through and win. And lo and behold, more often than not, I'm right, and here I was.
It's interesting. I think it's just you being there, because I spent about a year and a half in Cleveland, and all I saw was them collapsing in late game situations. And I think in that year and a half that I was there, I think the Browns won maybe one game.
Yeah. And then
correct me if I'm wrong. I'm back in Chicago now.
Yeah, and look at them. Look what's going on there.
God.
But
I mean, can you believe that team was 10-0 at one point? Isn't that
11-0.
11-0.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
They had a very easy schedule. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm not terribly surprised that they lost, but kind of the way they lost. The Pittsburgh Steelers got out Pittsburgh Steelered, if that makes sense. The Browns played like the Steelers. That's kind of what it was. But I was getting a little scared toward the end of the game when Roethlisberger, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Dude can sling it. He was coming back with all his weapons. He was doing great. I mean, he kind of got them there in the first place in terms of them being down 28-0, but he let them back. Kind of a ferocious comeback, but
yeah, he did.
Kind of just fell short and proved to me Baker Mayfield can hold a game down. But man, it was so impressive. The Browns did it with literally no coaches, with not being able to practice for 3 weeks, and they came out with, against a team that has dominated them since their inception. Seriously. This team has dominated them.
Do you think
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Do you think, given the situation the Browns were in, and I know, they're all professional athletes and everything like that, but the chips were stacked against the Cleveland Browns, not being able to practice for weeks, like you said, and being down, not even having their coach. Do you think there was a lack of preparation on the Steelers' part? A little bit.
I don't know about that.
I mean, here's the thing.
With the playoffs,
I don't think that's yeah, it's a playoff.
Yeah, but 28-0, man.
Plus, it's a division rival. I mean, I'm not going to say, with just the professionalism of the Steelers and what you know about the organization, I would never think that them not being ready or maybe overlooking an opponent would qualify, because Mike Tomlin's not that type of coach. Ben Roethlisberger is not that type of player. And I think they had their guys ready, but I just think they were so surprised at how, the game plan Cleveland had, and kind of just smacked him in the mouth. I mean, you're starting off with a center snap fumble to the quarterback into the end zone. Nobody expects a game to start like that. I get it if a running back fumbles, but that rarely happens. You're more likely to see a running back fumble, wide receiver fumble, or a quarterback throwing an interception. That's not a way to game for it to start. So off the bat, the momentum with Cleveland was there. And not to give him full credit, but Baker Mayfield showed up. He played great, and I think he showed me great leadership in a time when no Kevin Stefanski, no assistant coaches essentially, and you had their backup specials teams coach was their coach. He showed great leadership. And I could see every time, his running backs would go and get tackled, or wide receiver he would be the first one there to pick him right back up. The first one there.
Here's the thing, though, and I would agree with you guys with Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger. These guys are seasoned vets who take every game seriously. I'm more concerned about the young guys on the team. Juju Smith-Schuster, the fiasco he created. I don't know if you guys saw the comments he made about the Browns before they even went in. I'll just read it real quick. He said, "I think they're still the same Browns team I play every year. I think they're nameless gray faces. They have a couple of good players on their team, but at the end of the day, I don't know. The Browns is the Browns." So to me, that's kind of him assuming that, we got this in the bag. And these young guys, they have that. I believe ODB did a similar situation with the Giants with the lack of preparation that cost them, So Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger can do what they do, but if it's not all in, I mean, there's going to be repercussions, because these are all professional athletes, right? And I know we're going to get into this later, but like Matt Nagy, right? There's so much he can say to these guys, but at the end of the day, it's these young, grown men who have to make decisions for themselves and have to prepare. And when there's a lack of that, you see the disaster that unfolded for the Steelers. That's the only point I'm making.
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid point. I mean, not just him. I think Claypool came out today and said the Browns are going to get destroyed the next game. So, I mean, that's just kind of the mentality that you have. And if there's a couple of people talking like that, that means that's a team mentality as well. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to add to that. That's a good point, because, he said, the Browns are going to get destroyed next game. And Ryan Clark clapped back. I don't know if you guys saw that. He said, "Why does that matter? They destroyed you." So exactly. These young guys have a different mentality than the guys we kind of grew up watching, in Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, killer instinct, killer mentalities that only care about their games and stuff. Some of these young guys seem a little soft and take it personal. So I don't know.
And it impacts the team, right? I mean, look at OBJ, absolutely. Right? He's been out for the Browns, and they've done only better, right? Since he's been out, I think they've been killing it. So, I mean, I think it impacts the team overall. I mean, let me read the stats, okay? So, suppose you didn't know what the score was, right? Let me read the stats for you guys. Steelers, first downs, 34 compared to Browns, 20. Third down efficiency, 8 out of 15 compared to 6 over 14. Fourth down, 3 for 3. Total yards, 553 over 390. If you look at that, you would think the Steelers won the game. But there's one staggering stat: turnovers, 5 for the Steelers, 0 for the Browns. I think the Steelers lost the game in the first quarter, 28-0. You can't come back from that in a playoff game. You just can't. Roethlisberger is a beat. They did. No, I mean, you have Roethlisberger, so he's gonna, bring you back. You know how many passes he threw? He threw 68 passes. That's crazy. 68.
He actually set an NFL record for completions in a game, playoff and non-playoff game.
That's insane.
Well, if you throw 68, you better set some sort of.
That's true.
You better set something.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
you know,
go ahead.
back to what you guys are saying about the young players. I get it. I mean, they're young players, fine. It didn't really. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster had 13 catches for 160 yards and a touchdown. I think he did pretty well. I think if anything, it was Roethlisberger and their defense let them down. Not Juju Smith-Schuster, not Claypool. The defense couldn't stop Kareem Hunt. The defense couldn't stop Nick Chubb. The defense couldn't stop Baker Mayfield. They couldn't even generate proper pressure. The strength of the Steelers is what befalled them. And Ben Roethlisberger didn't help with. He aside from the fumble in the beginning, he had 4 interceptions. So how is this on the young guys making TikToks or whatnot? Sure, yeah, they're having fun, they're doing all that. It might not be what we're used to, but that's the new game. That's a lot of people do that, sure, but didn't impact their game. I didn't see any drops from Juju. I didn't see any drops from Chris Claypool.
I think it added. No, but I think it added to the fire for the Cleveland Browns to come out with that tenacity. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I don't think you need enough fire to play a playoff game against your division rival who has literally destroyed you for the last 50 years. I don't think there's any more fire that needed to be fueled there. Let's be honest. If you need someone to put a comment on Twitter or Facebook or whatnot and tell you, and that's going to fire you up, then you shouldn't be in the playoffs. Sorry.
I don't know. I think, even Juju Smith-Schuster's antics of stepping on every team's logo before every game, I don't think that was well received.
Sure. That's
against
opponents
a bit
and
immature.
Stuff like that. Here's the thing though. He might do all that stuff, and I don't think he's that great.
I just think no, but I think ultimately it just puts a target on your back.
Sure, exactly. I understand that.
That's what I'm saying.
But all I'm saying is that their offense aside didn't let them down. Roethlisberger is the one that let them down. Their defense is the one that let them down. With the game that they usually play, strong running game, they didn't have that. Strong defense, especially run defense, they didn't have that. Pass rush without a blitz, with the blitz, they didn't have any of that. And that's what we should be talking about, is them failing on defense, in part to the phenomenal game plan and the cream of the crop, number 1 offensive line in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns, how they played. They made gaping holes us 3 could have ran through. All right, maybe not, but it was that good that all the running backs did fantastic. So mad credit to the Cleveland Browns, mad credit to Kevin Stefanski, even though he wasn't there, had COVID. Hope you're doing better, dude. That they came out and won. But
he's definitely listening.
I know he is. I know. Hope you're better, man. I got you. I got you in my thoughts and prayers, because I know that's gonna help. And then and then but let's be honest. I think this is where the ride ends. And,
but I think you're right. This is what we should be focusing on. But me and Danielle love drama and talking about drama. So that's what Juju Smith-Schuster provided. And that is what I'm here for.
Isn't it crazy though? Like a couple years ago, remember how Antonio Brown was picking on Juju Smith, and how Juju was supposed to be like a good kid and good receiver, and now like a couple years later, when you become like the star lead wide receiver, like it's a cycle.
He's not the star. He's not the lead wide receiver on the team. Deontay Johnson's the lead wide receiver on the team.
No, the number 1 receiver is Juju Smith. He might not be as good, but he's the number 1 receiver.
Deontay Johnson, he was targeted the most. He had the most receptions. He had the most yards.
Dude, he didn't, bro. Oh, are you talking about like the Cleveland game?
Yeah,
I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about in general.
No. I mean, Juju's the number 1 receiver, even though he shouldn't be, but he's the number 1 receiver.
He's not going to get re-signed. I'll tell you that much. He's not coming back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
free agent. We'll see. But I think they're going to re-sign Muslim Smith-Schuster. Sorry, I had to do that.
You guys think
that's not a racist joke, right, guys?
No, it's not, because both are religions.
Yeah, it's not racist. Oh God.
Whoops.
Do you guys think Roethlisberger's retiring though?
I
Oh,
don't
Come
think-
back
man.
for another year.
No, I think
he'll be back.
yeah.
You, so what do you think?
I think he comes back for one more year. I don't think he can like. If I'm him, I can't retire on that performance. I mean, given the 501 yards or whatever he threw and the most completions, 4 interceptions, and losing to the Browns like a division rival, like Ubaid said, can't go out like that, man. Come back for one more year.
Speaking of come back for one more year, I don't think Brady's ever going to retire the way he's playing. But
This man looks younger every year, dude.
yeah,
I don't know what his secret is.
I need to get on the TB12 system, guys. Like, cause
Yeah.
I'm 29 and I feel like after 25, like my body fell apart. I have no idea. And this dude's
Yeah.
getting better every single year, and it's phenomenal. Absolutely. I mean, he's putting up great numbers, and he did this against a really, really good Washington front seven and a really good defense. But
Dude.
shout out to Washington football team for putting it all on the line with a backup quarterback.
Backup. Wasn't he
Yeah,
like the fourth
essentially,
backup?
yeah. I think
Tyler
fourth, 'cause you
Allen,
had-
Dwayne
you had
Haskins,
Alex
Alex
Smith, then him, and
Yeah.
they played a phenomenal game, and I thought they would pull off the upset. Just kind of something for the ages. Plus, you guys know how I feel about Tom Brady. There's nothing biased, I promise. But hey, Buccaneers are good. They're the real deal, and I do think that they're the second. Honestly, the way that they're playing, I think they're probably the best team in the NFC right now.
Really?
Mm.
Yes.
With Brady,
That's-
anything's possible, right?
Anything is possible, yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that the game that's gonna the Buccaneers and Saints game that's gonna be happening next Sunday is gonna be the game with the biggest margin of victory, and the Bucs will have it.
Wow.
Really interesting.
That's a bold
I think-
prediction.
I think the Bucs will win very convincingly against New Orleans, and if they do, and if Green Bay, which I do think that they will get past the Rams, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers will get past the Bucs.